Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator weather forecast. Today I'll be covering the weather for September 27th of 2023. I do have to make this video a little quick, but I will definitely be able to get to everything in today's forecast. As for our severe weather for today, we do have a slight risk for parts of western Kentucky into southern Indiana and southeastern Illinois, with a marginal threat around that. That does include the majority of Kentucky, southern Indiana, and southern Illinois. As for our threats for today, we do have a 2% tornado threat for that slight risk region. As for our wind threat, we do have a 15% wind threat for that slight risk region. And as for our hail threat, we do have a 15% for that slight risk region as well. Our main threats are going to be damaging winds and small to medium hail, with an additional 2% tornado threat. Taking a look at our radar omega model, starting off with our 500 millibars like we usually do, focusing on this shortwave trough that we've been tracking the last couple of days. The low pressure system is focused somewhere around the Michigan Lake as of right now. However, you can see that we are expected to continue seeing more so lower end trough advection from this shortwave trough. You can see that we do have quite a bit of veering of the winds in the mid levels, so we should definitely be able to see a little bit of directional shear to support the threat of that 2% tornado threat, as well as some elongated photographs to support the threat of small to medium hail, as well as the threat of damaging winds as well. Taking a look at our dew points, focusing on the slight risk region, you can see that we do have quite a bit of moisture across this region. We are expected to see dew points that are going to be ranging anywhere from the mid 50s into the mid and low, and possibly getting into the mid 60s. So we are expected to see some fairly moderate moisture across this region, which will probably lead to either low end or moderate instability, ranging anywhere from the triple digits to the 2000s. Taking a look at our temperatures for the slight risk region, you can see that we are expected to have temperatures that are going to be ranging anywhere from the upper 70s into the low 80s. But then if we take a look at our wide spread and wide scale temperatures across the United States, we are expected to continue seeing temperatures into the 90s across the southern United States. That does include parts of Mississippi, southern Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, southern Kansas, Oklahoma, parts of eastern New Mexico, and Texas. We are expected to continue seeing temperatures that are going to be into the 90s and above. So it is going to be fairly hot across Texas. However, it wasn't nearly as hot as it was a couple weeks ago. So we should continue to see a decline in these temperatures as we do move into the fall season. We are also expected to have some fairly hot temperatures, which is fairly common across Arizona and southern California up into the Las Vegas area. It is fairly desertous out here, so we could definitely see some fairly hot temperatures that could get as high as the 100 degrees. If you live in any of the areas, which I'm pretty sure you probably don't, because I'm pretty sure these are fairly desertous and very rural areas. But if you do live out in these areas, definitely make sure you are paying attention to any heat-related illnesses such as heat stroke if you live in anywhere in the maroon, and staying hydrated if you have if you have any plans outside, which I honestly do not recommend in temperatures this high. And then if we take a look at the Pacific Northwest, we are expected to continue seeing temperatures that are going to be below average. However, it isn't nearly as bad anymore compared to the end of last week. It is going to continue to warm up slightly. Doesn't look like it's all that much of a big difference. However, it is a little bit more warm compared to what we were seeing towards the end of last week. So it should possibly continue to warm up if we don't have another trough that moves through this region. Taking a look at our instability, focusing on the slight risk region, you can see that we are expected to have a fairly moderate instability across this region. We are expected to see CAPE values that are going to be ranging anywhere from the triple digits into the mid 1000s. We aren't really expected to see CAPE values that are going to be getting into the widespread 2000s. However, we may be able to see a little bit of CAPE values that are going to get into some low 2000s across southern Kentucky and northern Tennessee. As you can see, we do have a little bit of yellow there. However, overall widespread, we are expected to see CAPE values that are going to be fairly moderate, mainly staying anywhere from the triple digits into the 1000s, into the mid 1000s range. This should definitely be able to support the threat of damaging winds, and with our elongated photographs that we have, we could definitely see the threat of small to medium hail, as well as the additional tornado threat with some of the veering of the winds that we had from this trough, generating enough directional shear to lead to a little bit of spin up in the atmosphere to support that 2% tornado threat. Taking a look at our bulk shear, I'm probably going to start covering bulk shear from now on in our forecast, as it does combine our, I think, our directional shear and our speed shear to give us our wide profile of our both our shears in the atmosphere, so we can get a good idea for elongated hood graphs. But then I'll also break it down and look at energy helicity index to give you an idea of our directional shear and our tornado threat from this. This is more so we can get an idea of our hail potential. So if we take a look at our slight risk with our bulk shear, I am going to be mainly on 0 to 1 kilometer bulk shear. So it does take a look at the profile of the atmosphere from the surface up to 1 kilometer in the atmosphere, and it gives us that value of our shear. So as for our slight risk region, we do have quite a bit of shear across this region. We are expected to see either directional or speed shear. That is going to be getting into the 30 knots across some regions. However, it's going to be more so in the widespread upper teens and into the low 20s, and possibly getting into the 30s in some regions. This will definitely be able to, we could definitely see some elongated hood graphs from this, and definitely see the threat of some small to medium hail with our 15% hail threat come out of this as well. Taking a look at our energy helicity index, you may have just been able to hear the thunder in the background. That gives you a hint of what might be released in the next couple of days. I will potentially have a time-lapse video out of some of the storms that are currently ongoing. You also get a guest appearance from my cat, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. However, as for our energy helicity index, you can see that we do have quite a bit of energy helicity index readings. I am on 0 to 3 kilometers, so it does focus on the surface up to 3 kilometers in the atmosphere with our CAPE profiles and our directional shear profiles. You do see that we do have quite a bit of directional shear out across more so southwestern Illinois in southern Illinois. However, our storms are expected to develop more so towards the east of this, so they won't really be able to use up all this directional shear that's more so to the west. However, the directional shear that they are going to be able to use to the east is going to be fairly indicative of this 2% tornado threat. We are expected to have 0 to 3 kilometer energy helicity index readings of getting as high as the 2.5s, and this will again definitely be indicative and supportive of our 2% tornado threat. And again, we could definitely see the additional threat of 1 or 2 brief tornadoes across this region. However, overall, our main threat from this slight risk region is going to be damaging winds and small to medium hail. Now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator and join the Discord for any updates on Project Gladiator. If you live in any of the areas that I covered for today, please stay with the alert for the time being, and hopefully I will be able to see you guys tomorrow with another forecast.